don't get me wrong, you need to have the skill sets, but I think most importantly, that they can be taught, right? Connections can't.
Welcome to our podcast, The Future of Hospitality. I'm your host, Arjan Eikelenboom, and today our guest is Alexander Shaw, Director of Real Estate at Avery Consulting in London. Alex, welcome to our show.
How's it going? Nice to be here. Thanks for inviting me on.
No, my pleasure, my pleasure. I'm happy to see you here. And so let me introduce you, or you know what? Let you introduce yourself. Who is Alexander or Alex, and where you live, where you're from, what you do, and we'll take it from there.
Sure thing. Yeah, no worries. I think, as you mentioned, I'm Alex Shaw, currently based in London. Well, I'd say probably in between sort of Manchester and London at the moment, the way things are going. I'm the Director of Real Estate, or should I say newly established Director of Real Estate at Avery Consulting. Who are Avery Consulting? Well, we are executive search specialists, mainly within the hospitality regions. That's where we specialize. We look at real estate in general. We look at operational hospitality, and we look at hotel tech and prop tech as well. So that's kind of our three pillars, so to speak.
Okay, enough pillars for us to talk about. I will just try to remind you of certain pillars during our conversation. So we'll just pick them up as we go. What I would like to hear first, who is Alex? You are from Manchester originally. I think that's what I hear, what I heard. But can you walk us through from the moment you started not in your current position, but what took you to your current position? Because you do real estate and hospitality. I would like to break that open a little bit. And what's your passion? How did that happen? And what is it exactly that you do right now? But let's start with how it started.
Sure. I can take you through my my sort of early career, which isn't really probably what most people expect, in all honesty. I started doing a bachelor's at Lancaster University in law.
Law, okay.
Yeah, in law, yeah, exactly.
Oh, right, all right.
My plan kind of moving forward, especially from a young age, was to always be a lawyer. That was for me. That was always going to be my career path. I know what you're thinking. How did we get here? But we'll go on to it. So I did a bachelor's in law at Lancaster University. I then went on to do a master's in international law in Prague. So I moved over there for a little while and did a master's there, and then passed my LPC and worked in a law firm. So originally I was doing a lot of legal drafting, mainly within the private client space. So drafting wills, lasting powers of attorney, stuff like this. And then moved over to become a paralegal at another law firm based in Manchester, where I was dealing with clients' inheritance tax, writing trusts and legal documents, stuff like that. And yeah, I qualified and thought, right, that's it. I finally made it after years of studying. And you know what? It just didn't quite fulfill me with the excitement that I thought I was going to feel once you've qualified.
So I'm going to interrupt you. Why did you started studying law in the first place? Because didn't you know that, or shouldn't you expected that from when you started? I mean, it didn't excite you, and
you know what it is. I think I had a lot of not pressure, but I guess some guidance from my family, right? Where I'd say probably from a kind of poor-ish background. I'm kind of one of the first people in my family to go to university.
Okay, I see.
So it was more of a case of, how far can I take it, right? It's like if I have the chance to go to university, then what's the best job I can get,
I see it. I see it now. All right.
You look at all these films and TV shows, Suits, all that kind of jazz, and you're thinking, wow, super exciting, going to be in
You
court.
were like, Mom and Dad, I'm going to be a lawyer. Yay,
exactly.
The first one that was it.
Hit the nail on the head. And,
I see what you mean.
And then you arrive, and a lot of it is admin, sat at a desk, writing up all these contracts, and it can become very repetitive, and the career path is very slow, and it just wasn't for me. I like I say, I did many years of studying. I arrived at the door, arrived at the gate, so to speak, and it kind of fell flat. I wasn't getting that ambitious. I'm very entrepreneurial. I think even as a kid, right, my dad would work on a market on a Sunday. I'd be with him at kind of 5 years old. I remember one time, we even had a conker tree outside the house. And, when the season hit, all these conkers fell down. And I was like, right, how can I make some money out of this? So I'd have a load of boxes, put some conkers in a box with a load of string. I don't know if you ever played conkers when you were younger, but we have a game called conkers over here. And I'd sell boxes of conkers with string on the market from the age of probably 7
for
years
the
old.
viewers, the conkers. What is the game about?
So you get a conker, or what would another word for conker be? Kind of like a chestnut or something like that, a very big nut that will fall from the tree. You'd tie some string around it so it kind of hangs. And then the person, your competitor, would also have one. And what you would do is you would whack it against each other. It sounds silly now, but it's very competitive once you start playing.
I like it.
And whoever's conker came off the string first, you'd be victorious. So I'd
right.
So yeah, it's a very strange game. It's definitely popular kind of growing up as a kid. Didn't have too much to do with PlayStations, weren't kind of kicking around. But yeah, so I was very entrepreneurial from the age of like 7, right? And, working in a law firm, that kind of repetitiveness wasn't bringing me that entrepreneurial spirit, that kind of, that passion that I was looking for, so to speak. So
where did you, what did you do? Because you eventually, you ended up in hospitality in some way. So can we build the bridge to there?
So I ended up in recruitment first, real estate recruitment.
Right.
So, and how I got into that was one of my friends that actually put me into a law firm worked at a recruitment company called Hayes, which do kind of legal recruitment. I was speaking to him and he was absolutely loving it. He was enjoying the business development, speaking to different law firms and stuff like this. All sounded very exciting. And I was like, I guess he said, this could be a good route for you. You really enjoy speaking to people. You really enjoy listening and wrapping up as much knowledge as possible. And recruitment is all about, at the end of the day, networking, right? Speaking to people, getting to know people's kind of pain points, let's say, and bringing in the right people to fix that. I also wanted to move to London. So I applied for a role. I got the job at a company called Hire Capital. And they specialized in real estate recruitment. So I spent close to 2 years there focusing on investment and acquisition roles. That would be kind of across all asset classes. So hospitality was, I say, not, to be honest with you, probably not as inclusive as, well, nowhere near as inclusive as what I'm doing now. I mean, I'm specializing in hospitality, right? But at the time I would look at build to rent, PBSA, so student accommodation, be looking at offices, industrial logistics, a complete mixed bag in the UK. I went from there because unfortunately my mother got sick. She was based in Manchester. I was based in London. It was a lot of back and forth while she was poorly. So I left Hire Capital to look after her. Kind of still fell in love with real estate and wanted to carry on because real estate's really fast moving, right? Things are changing all the time. People are acquiring different things. And I was like, how can I stay in the game? So I set up on my own for a good year and decided
What did you set up on your own? What did you do exactly?
So I set up my own firm, which was Bowie Consulting, which is doing the same. Bowie Consulting, which was doing the same as what I was doing at Hire Capital. I'd say with more of a hospitality hotel-led focus. And I think the reason why I chose hospitality, I was speaking to, I think I told you this last time we spoke on the phone, and I don't want to annoy anyone because I'm still working with some great clients within other asset classes. But, when you speak to people within hotels, whether that be candidates, whether that be clients, there's that real passion there, There's a bit of a flicker in their eyes. People that stay that are in hotels, starting hotels, tend to stay there, and they really love to share like what they're up to, what their pipeline looks like, what they're working on at the moment. And you sometimes compare that, and not to talk badly about other asset classes, but you compare that to someone that might be doing industrial logistics or offices, and yes, there's some exciting things going on there, but I just don't see the passion as much, so that's why I went straight into hospitality. And I've recently joined the guys at Avery Consulting, which was a very...
Before we go to Avery, I want to stay in Manchester for that.
For sure,
For that year, you had Bowie. That was your own firm, Bowie Consulting. That was you doing your thing in Manchester. Can you give me an example of one of your clients, or what you have achieved, or that you were passionate about? I would like to hear an example from your experience.
Yeah, so a good one would be, I worked with the likes of like London and regional hotels, right? And at the time, when I was working for Bowie Consulting, my own firm, they were in need of a transactional director. So, for example, I would work on a role like that. Or if, Starwood were looking for an analyst, so investment banking, kind of private equity side, I would assist with that. If Savills Hotel Capital Markets team were looking for an analyst, then I'd bring someone in, right? So it was that kind of thing. And I ended up doing really well on my own, I won't lie. It was a lot of fun. My network just grew and grew and grew in the hotel and hospitality space. I kind of got a name for myself, which I enjoyed. And it got to a point where a lot more people were coming to me asking for help compared to what most recruiters kind of dread the most, which is, we're having to do reach out to people and do that kind of thing, right? The reason why I kind of moved away from that is my mum unfortunately passed away, and as much fun as
that. How long? That's not too long ago, right? Yeah.
Kind of December time, not too long ago, and it was one of those where, as much fun as I was having on my own, it's always better to be kind of part of a team, but most importantly, part of a team that shares the same kind of passions for you, right? And it wasn't a very easy decision for me to move over to Avery Consulting. I actually had 5 or 6 offers for other firms before I joined them. But yeah, I finally made the move over to these guys a couple of months ago, and it's been a bloody good decision so far. And I can tell you the reasons why shortly if you want me to, and kind of why I chose them over others. But yeah, that's been kind of my journey.
Okay, so you moved to London not too long ago.
Right, so I've lived in London kind of 3 years prior. So I was living in London when I was at Higher Capital. I just moved back and was kind of spending...
Back. Oh, right, that's what it was. Yep.
Yeah, and even then, so I was spending half my week in Manchester, half my week in London, because, a lot of the real estate hub, let's say, is all based in London, right? So if I want to have meetings and stuff like that, it's always good to be still going there.
I think. Okay, let's make the jump indeed to Avery Consulting. That's where you are now. It's a recruitment agency. Recruitment agency or consulting agency in London, but you are on the hospitality side. Can you explain or shine a light on what exactly it is, what you were doing? And also, I still want to hear the spark of passion for that particular segment in this industry.
Sure. Well, in regards to what we do, and I guess I can kind of intertwine it with the reason why I chose Avery Consulting, would be good, is that, a lot of offers I was getting from other recruitment firms were, look, can you open our hotel desk for us? We don't do a lot in hotels. We do stuff in kind of the living space and build to rent, but we're not that knowledgeable in the hotel sector. With Avery Consulting, it was very different, right? I spoke to the founder, Thomas, and he had a real vision, which was, we want to be hotel specialists, but we want to cover the entire radius, right? Which is myself doing kind of and I guess Thomas as well, doing investment, acquisition, feasibility-led roles if we're working with hotel brands, for example, because they need a lot of feasibility people and development people, and also asset management, because obviously, they need people to report on their portfolio, manage their portfolio. So me and Thomas focus on that. Now, the best thing about it is I'm from the UK. Thomas is French. He's able to cover other European markets that I can't necessarily cover. So there's some good connections there. One of the other good things is we have another person that focuses on hotel operations. So we can cover that. And what I love about Ed the most, if you ever speak to him, is the fact that his background is actually in hotel operations. So he used to work at Numa doing openings and stuff like that. So I don't know if you're aware of Numa. And also he covers hotel tech. And he actually owns in Germany a company called Wondery, which is a fully hotel tech hostel platform. So, and then we've got another person which focuses on prop tech as well. So hotel tech and prop tech is something, and I'm more than happy to discuss the reasons why later on perhaps, but something that is really, really coming into fashion and is really a big need for a lot of people in the hotel space at the moment is tech and AI and hotel tech.
I see that too on the podcast. I mean, it's all about tech nowadays.
100%. Yeah. So it's been quite amazing that, everyone in our company has a real passion for hotels. We're all knowledgeable in our own sectors, which can cover, the kind of the real estate side, the investment, the asset management, the feasibility. We can cover hotel operations. So, once the hotel is built or once someone acquires a portfolio.
Yes, talking about that, because what I want to hear from you is an example in your current position with Avery Consulting, focused on the hospitality market. Can you give me an example, maybe something you're working on right now? If you don't have to name names, if you're not allowed to, but you're, from my point of view, you're free to name brands, whatever, it's all right. I just want to have a very clear picture of what exactly it is that you are doing right now and why you are doing it and what it looks like.
Sure. I don't know how much we can name names, in all honesty, when it comes to some of our clients, and just because, just in case they haven't been advertised live, let's say. But for example, we'll be working with European hotel operators that are looking for a director of asset light investment or asset light hospitality, let's say. I'm looking for a vice president of acquisitions for a international hospitality investment manager at the moment. So it can be anything from kind of the junior levels of analyst all the way up to executive level. So a real mixed bag.
It is a mixed bag. Do you, in your role, do you see anything in this segment of hospitality and investments, real estate investments? Do you see anything on the front side operations? Are you involved with that in any way, perhaps?
In regards to front side operations, I would say that's not my area, but that would be Ed's area in regards to front side operations.
Because I can only imagine it would help you to get a very, very clear picture of the asset, because it's two different things. It's the operations and it's the asset itself. That's the building and et cetera.
100%. I mean, like when we're having meetings with whether it be investment directors or CEOs or whoever it may be, right? We want to know the journey. We want to know the theme of the hotel. We want to know what's important for the brand. In order to match people with, the right candidates who either, they're going to see the vision, right? And they're going to add value. Maybe they're from a competitor of a similar brand or something like that. Maybe they've been working on similar acquisitions or asset managing similar properties, So 100%. One of the most important part of things is, look, what's the culture like? And that's not just the culture of the team that you're working in, but what's the culture of the hotel? What are you looking to achieve?
The identity. Here? I can only imagine
exactly.
the identity of
Exactly.
And it's different in different places. You're now in London, so I can only imagine you are most of your clients operate in London. Is that correct?
London.
But even in London, you have. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say UK, Europe, and I've done a bit of a stint in the Middle East as well, so over in Dubai. So, we're working with a few people in Dubai as well. A good thing, like one of the things we're seeing at the moment, especially after COVID, is the introduction or the push for mixed use, right? Mixed use hospitality. It's becoming such a big thing now. It's kind of affecting the way in which we're finding candidates as well. Because
mixed use, I heard that term before. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so it could be a hotel that's also incorporating other asset classes as well. So a good example would be companies incorporating co-working, sort of flex office spaces. So, we're seeing the rise in like digital nomads at the moment. They want meeting rooms if they're going to a different city for particular meetings, then the hotel can offer them a place with a Wi-Fi and a desk to sit down and do their work without any hassle, or they can book a meeting room within the hotel. And it's a really good revenue stream for the hotels as well, right? Because they're adding a bit of extra value there. And there's a lot of big players that are doing it at the moment. I think, Accor being one of them. I think there are 1,200 properties they have across Europe. They've incorporated co-working.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Scandic hotels as well. I think they've done it in about 270 of their locations. Curtin Hospitality is doing that on the operations side as well. Like, it's becoming such a big trend at the moment.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I see it myself too. But the term is getting more popular and popular. So it's more diversifying the hotel property itself, the operations, and to what I'm guessing monetize it the most. And it's also, I think, it changes the whole dynamic of the hotel. It's not just a hotel anymore, but it's indeed a working space, and it's much more dynamic.
100%. Or that's just one example, but, another could be bringing in retail, but not just retail. You can add a bit more of a community, right? So, for example, a hotel in Rome, or maybe a smaller city, let's say, rather than just bringing in a Starbucks into your hotel, have a look what's around the radius of the hotel, right? Bring in the local community. Maybe there's a coffee shop 2 or 3 streets away from the hotel that does amazing coffee. Bring them in. Add that kind of retail aspect as well, and I think it really adds to the customer's journey and the customer's experience as well. And I'm seeing a lot of that at the moment, even with the bigger players. So
that you're not just your job, but the whole segment where you are in is kind of changing when it comes to appraisals, the value of the property, the potential of a property. And can I imagine that I'm seeing you going to a property when you have to check it out for the first time. How does that work?
Yeah, so we do try and do that. Sometimes it's a bit difficult if it's, in the Middle East or something like that, and they're like, "You okay, nip into our hotel?" We'll try our best. But yeah.
It's a whole different market. Yeah.
Even if it's not for the client, though, we try and go to hotels all the time, especially when we're in London, just to get a feel as to how the market is, get a feel of, what's going well. Maybe we're spotting certain trends. We try and book as many meetings as we can within different hotels. Something we're doing at the moment, kind of on the side, is setting up kind of quite intimate networking events as well within a hotel. So we're bringing kind of industry leaders, kind of just 5 or 6, whether that be investment directors, whether that be someone in hotel tech, whether that be someone from the asset management or operational side, sit them down. We'll have a chat, discuss the market, see if we have any synergies. It's all about just speaking to the big players all the time, and even the little players as well, let's say. But people in the market, right, and getting to know sort of what the trends are and what people are doing.
What is it that attracts you the most in this role? Is it that communication, the interactions, the meeting of new people in big properties, small properties? I mean, I can only imagine that is a very dynamic place to operate in.
It's really exciting for me. I feel very, very honoured to be honest with you. You know, it's not every day you book a meeting with, I don't know, the development director of Mandarin Oriental, or one of the top guys at KSL Capital Partners, or you speak to the head of feasibility at Yotel or Hilton or wherever it may be, right? Or you speak to family offices or private wealth individuals that have a lot of capital, and they're like, look, I want you to connect me with the right people because I want to grow a portfolio in the UK and Europe. How exciting is that, you know?
That I can only imagine. Indeed,
it's crazy.
Very exciting. And it's a very, I think that's a very steep learning curve that you're going through also.
I agree.
Because you meet all these new people. Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I've had a couple of years to build up the knowledge now, right? And I think one of the important things about us, I think Ed was a good example, is, you know, his background is in hotel operations, right? So he already knows the ins and outs. So he knows what a company might require on the operations side. He knows what kind of hotel tech is incredibly useful in cutting down costs or increasing efficiency, because he's been there and done that. For me, I've been in the game a couple of years now, focusing solely on investment acquisition and asset management. I spoke to every man and his dog about it. And on top of that, you know, at the moment, I'm completing certifications with Wall Street Prep in financial modeling and stuff like that, learning how to build financial models for hotels, which is exactly what my candidates are doing in their day to day. So I think, well, you know, if I'm taking a proactive approach and actually doing it myself and doing what these analysts are doing, it's going to give me a better picture as to what clients are looking for, and also what's good and what's bad in regards to skill set of a particular candidate, right? Because I've been there, done that. I've had the hands-on approach. So, yeah.
So hearing all this, what is your goal for the next 5 years, maybe even 10 years in this industry? I mean, you chose hospitality. We know that. I see that, and I know the industry is it's so diverse, and there is a lot to do. And I think in your role, there is no limit. So, what is your ambition, your long-term goal?
My long-term goal is to be the number one executive search for hotels out there.
Okay, period. That is not the number one executive. Okay,
we want to be the number one recruitment company for hotels, and I think I mentioned to you, you know, our limits. To be fair, we don't. What we do is kind of expanded ever so slightly, right? I mean, I think I said to you kind of last week, and it'd be good to share with the audience, is, you know, our network, because we have such a good network, we have people approach us all the time that are saying, look, we're looking for investors for particular developments. We're looking for, you know, a good one is we had a really good European hotel operator have a meeting with us the other day. And they were like, look, we're eyeing up a £200 million hotel portfolio in the UK. We want some investors to come in to help us with it. Can you connect us with the right people? Now, that's not necessarily recruitment, is it? But with us having the network that we have, we're able to assist in that. Or, you know, maybe there's some family offices in Dubai that have a lot of capital. They're looking to grow their portfolio in the UK or Europe. They can't find any trophy assets or trophy hotels. That's what they want to invest in. We have sources that we work with that focus on hotel investment opportunities and off-market opportunities all the time. We're able to assist with that as well. So because of the network we've grown from being hotel specialists, we're able to help with other areas as well, right? Not just recruitment. but these areas too. And that's really exciting. So I want to continue growing that, as well as, like I say, becoming the number one recruitment firm for hotels, for sure. That's the end goal. I think it's difficult when it comes to recruitment, because you said it's for the company, but I think at the end of the day, it's not really. I think a big part of it is self-branding. A big part of it is, you'll find it a lot of times is, say someone's looking for a job or someone's trying to find someone for their team, and they speak to one of their colleagues. Most of the time, they're not going to say, I think you should speak to this recruitment firm. They'll know. They'll say, no, I think you should speak to Alex. Why don't you get in touch with Alex, right? So a lot of it is self-branding. So even though you say, that's for the business, and it is, it's a two-way street. It's very much for me as well. And I think, outside of the business, even though I'm not planning on leaving anytime soon, it's definitely for me to be, kind of that person that's in the back of people's mind when they say, we need to connect with the right investors, or we need to grow our team. Who can we speak to? Straight away, Alex, when it comes to hotels. That's what I want.
Right. Alex, one last question. What would you advise someone your age, maybe even younger, who is looking for a new career or a career and is thinking about this particular industry? Is there any advice that you would give the particular person?
In regards to hospitality or in regards to recruitment?
I think in hospitality, recruitment and hospitality, in hospitality.
Fine. Recruitment in hospitality. Well, I can start with hospitality in general, just to give people a heads up. That would be, look, just go out and speak to people in the area. It's all about, look, I've worked across all asset classes, right? In real estate, everyone knows each other. I promise you, everyone knows each other. And then when you niche it down to a particular
in hospitality,
it's
the same thing. In hospitality, everyone.
Well, that's the thing.
In hotel, everyone knows one.
I was going to say, when you niche it down even further into a particular asset class, such as hotels or hospitality, everyone bloody knows each other. So go out there, speak to people, and don't be afraid to as well. I see a lot of people where, they'll make connections on LinkedIn, for example, and they'll be, this guy's amazing. I'd love to speak to him. Drop him a message. What are you going to get?
Indeed.
You're either going to get a no, but most of the time, and especially within hotels, people want to talk about it, right? People want to talk. They're excited by what they're doing. They want to share it with others. They want people, the up and comers, to grow within the sector, right? So reach out to people. For sure. Make sure you know your market knowledge, because it's moving all the time, whether that be even in hotel tech or just hotels in general. Make sure you know what's going on, who's doing what in the space, who's moving where, what companies. There's a lot of companies being set up at the moment, whether that be in investment management or asset management. Get to know who they are as well. But it's all about connections. I promise you. Don't get me wrong. You need to have the skill sets. But I think most importantly, they can be taught, right? Connections can't.
It's about connections. I fully agree. That's exactly what it is about. That's how you grow. Alex, it was great to hear you speak, to hear your insights, your experience, and your goals. Thank you for being on our show.